and welcome to the MoldyWorm gaming channel. My name is MoldyWorm41975 and today we're going to be talking about a possible future GTA Online DLC concept. So a couple of days ago I made a video discussing a possible GTA Online DLC concept. Now we still don't know exactly what the next DLC in GTA Online is going to be. However, yesterday, on May the 10th, Jan, who, if you don't know, is a very reputable leaker for GTA Online, he posted that he knows what the next DLC for GTA Online is, and that's really cool. So I'll have it up on screen here for you guys, so you'll be able to see exactly what he posted. But the reason he isn't actually allowed to tell us exactly what the DLC is because he's not allowed to leak anymore because of some legal action on Rockstar's side. But it does have me very excited for the next DLC. Hopefully it's coming very soon. So no one in the community really knows exactly what the DLC is going to be. But he says it's really cool and that it would have us all really excited. So I am really hyped for the next DLC and I don't even know what it is yet. So I just wanted to give you that quick update as far as when we might expect the next DLC or what it could be. But today we're going to be discussing another hypothetical GTA Online DLC. So this isn't an actual DLC that's coming. This is just something I've sort of thought up, and I think it's something that a lot of people in the community would like to see, and that is a Naval DLC. Now the way this DLC would work is similar to the gun running and Smuggler's Run style. You'd do the source missions where you would steal or you would buy the supplies and then you would sell them on for more money. But the update would add new cars to Southern San Andreas Super Autos and Legendary Motorsports. But it would also add new aircrafts to the game and some new boats as well, because obviously it's a naval DLC. But I'll discuss exactly which ones later. I'll discuss some cars that I think would fit with this DLC in just a minute. And it would also add a new property. So in Smuggler's Run we got the hangars, and in gun running we got the bunkers. So the new property that it would actually add for the naval DLC is the aircraft carrier from the Humane Labs heist where you have to steal the Hydra. So we can already purchase the yachts in game, but now you would be able to purchase the aircraft carrier in game as well as a purchasable property. Now it would kind of act like the bunkers and the hangars, but I'll talk a little bit about that just in a second. When the update actually drops into GTA Online, you would receive a phone call. So if you've logged in after the gun running update or the Smuggler's Run update, the first thing that happens once you've logged into online is you get a phone call from a contact saying, hey look, there's this new property available on the website, go and buy it and then we can start doing this new business. So when you log into GTA Online, you would receive a phone call from Bogdan, who is the Russian captain on the submarine from the Doomsday Heist. So if you've not played the Doomsday Heist, there is basically a massive submarine that you have to go and sort of infiltrate, and the captain of the submarine is called Bogdan. Now, I'm going to spoilers here, so if you've not played the Doomsday Heist yet, which I think most people probably have, the guy that you're supposed to be helping, Avon Hertz, actually turns against you, and the guy that you're actually against, who is actually Bogdan, becomes sort of a friend, and then so it kind of reverses. So by the end of the Doomsday Heist, Bogdan actually becomes your friend, but nothing really happens to him after the Doomsday Heist. They sort of just let him go, but he is a war criminal in Russia, so he couldn't really go back to Russia. could sort of stay in America, I guess. So he would basically be your contact. So Hal Lester is your contact for the heists, and Agent 14 is your contact for the gun running, and Ron is your contact for Smuggler's Run. Bogdan would be your contact for the Naval DLC, for the naval business. Then he would tell you to buy the aircraft carrier either on the Warsaw Cash and Carry website, or it might be on the DocTease website, so whichever one Rockstar decide to add it to. And you could also customize the aircraft carrier with options that you want. So you'd have the options of personal boat storage and personal aircraft storage. There'd be two upgradable features. And then it would work exactly like how the other DLCs work, where you would go to a computer that would be on the lower deck of the aircraft carrier, and you'd start up a resupply mission. And then, yeah, you'd eventually go on to sell whatever product you have. Now, you'd also be able to move the aircraft carrier, which is something that you can't do with the bunkers and stuff. So you'd be able to move the aircraft carrier to different locations around the map by going to see Bogdan, who would be the captain of your aircraft carrier. And it would work the same as the yacht, so you would pay him a fee to move the boat to a location of your choosing. So you could have your aircraft carrier right by Vespucci Beach if you wanted, so it was right close to your office, or you could have it at the top of the map for some reason. But yeah, you could move your boat around basically, so it'll be the first sort of movable like business, if you know what I mean. You kind of get what I mean. You would also have the option to store personal boats on the aircraft carrier. And you'd also be able to call in your personal boats through the interaction menu. So I like how the Smuggler's Run DLC added the ability to call personal aircraft in on the interaction menu. You'd now be able to do that with boats as well. But you'd also be able to modify the boats, which is something we don't currently have in GTA Online. So you can, with the Smuggler's Run DLC, you could modify all the new aircraft with performance and visual upgrades, but you could also paint the old aircraft, which I think is quite a cool thing. You couldn't really upgrade them to the same extent as the new ones, the new aircraft, but you could sort of paint them and make them look a bit more personal to you. So any boats that are currently in GTA Online would be able to do that. And then any new boats that were added would be able to have performance upgrades like the engine, transmission, and maybe some visual upgrades. So some flames on the side and a massive supercharger on the back, maybe a spoiler, because I know some boats already have a spoiler. But it would be really cool to see, you know, like a massive wang on the back of your boat or something. That'd be really cool in my opinion. And then finally, you'd get all the extra stuff that comes with all the GTA Online DLCs. There'd be new clothes for your character, new weapons, and also some new features. So the Arena Wars DLC, which we just got at Christmas, that added the new feature of being able to wheelie. So it was only a very little thing. It probably added some of the features that I don't know about. But little features like that just make the game more interesting, you know, more enjoyable to play. So it would add some little features like that. The main one that I'd like to see that I mentioned earlier is the ability to call personal boats from the interaction menu. And then there'd obviously be some new vehicles in this update. So I'm not going to be talking about every new vehicle that I think should be added to this update, but a few that I thought of was the American F-35 vertical takeoff jet. So I'll put a picture on screen now so you guys know what I'm talking about. But basically, this jet replaced the Harrier jump jet, which we already have in game. That's the Hydra, and it is currently being used on American aircraft carriers, I think. So if we got the aircraft carrier, obviously they'd probably want to add this jet because it's quite a cool jet in my opinion. And it would be another vertical takeoff jet, sort of like the Hydra. So it'll be quite cool to see that. Also the Vortex hovercraft from GTA San Andreas. So if you've never seen this, again I'll put a picture on screen so you know what it looks like. So I'm aware we already have a car called a Vortex, or a motorbike I should say, so they probably call it something else, but if it was based on the style of the San Andreas Vortex hovercraft, I think a lot of people would like that. And if it had the sort of amphibious ability where it could go from land to sea, that would be really cool as well. But then also more amphibious cars, so you know I always try and push for more amphibious cars. Probably gets a little bit annoying now and then, but I love amphibious cars. So a few that I thought of was the original Amphicar. Again, I'll put a picture on screen so you know what I'm talking about. Also the Pond Bug, which is the amphibious Bond Bug from the Grand Tour TV series. And the other one was the Water Car Panther. So you've probably never heard of this car. It's based on a Jeep Wrangler chassis, so it does basically look like a Jeep. And then it has the wheels sort of fold into the car, sort of like how they do on the Blazer Aqua. And then it turns into an amphibious car. But that is currently the world's fastest production water speed amphibious car in the world. So, you know, it is quite an important car, and if they were going to add any amphibious car, that would be a really cool one, because the technical Aqua is really cool, but it's really slow, and the Blazer Aqua is cool, but it's not really an amphibious car. It's a bit awkward to drive, so more amphibious cars would be really nice. And if you want to see a more in-depth video about which amphibious cars need to be added to GT Online, I've made another video about that on my channel, so I'll link to that down below, so make sure you go and check that out after this video. Basically, to summarise everything that I've said, it would be a carbon copy of the Smuggler's Run and the Gun Running update, so it would have the basic layout where you purchase a property, steal supplies, and then sell them on for more money. But it would allow you to purchase the aircraft carrier, which I think is something a lot of people would like to own. Even if they don't allow us to purchase the aircraft carrier, if they sort of just added it as like a little island that you could just go and visit in online, that would be really cool. So personally, I'd love to see this update because I think it complements the Smuggler's Run update quite well. So you might be asking why. Well, we got a lot of aircraft in that update. So if we got an aircraft carrier and we could land our aircraft on the aircraft carrier and then possibly store them on the aircraft carrier as well, that would be really cool. And then you could use those aircraft to go out and steal more supplies and bring them back to your aircraft carrier. And it would also give us a reason to explore the GTA 5 ocean, which surrounds the whole map. It's quite a big part of the map. But nobody really goes into the water because, you know, there's not really much to do out there. And I don't think Rockstar utilised the water enough. It's incredibly detailed, the water, and the graphics that you have underwater are just absolutely amazing. And things that you can find on there, you know, wrecked ships, wrecked aeroplanes, you know, all sorts of amazing things down there, but Rockstar just don't utilise it enough. So if we had a reason to go out there and, you know, get supplies and stuff, then I think people would really enjoy that. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of this DLC concept. It is quite similar to the Smuggler's Run and the other DLC, the Gun Running DLC, but I think it would add a few things that people would really enjoy, and I think people enjoyed those previous updates, so I think they would enjoy this update as well. Maybe not so much for the business side, but just because of the vehicles it would add, you know, more jets, cars, whatever. But that's basically it. Let me know what you think of this DLC in the comment section, whether you'd want to see this kind of update, and if you want to see the other DLC concept I made a couple of days ago, I'll link to that in the description below as well. And also let me know what your DLC predictions are for 2019. What DLC are we going to be getting for GT Online this year, do you think? But that is it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it hasn't been too boring. And until next time, goodbye.